We're on the air to report a situation unfolding right now at the airport in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where there has been a shooting. 9 people have been shot. We're told one person is dead. We don't know if that is the shooter. There were reports that a shooter was in custody. The motive unclear. It's happening at Terminal 2. You're seeing some of the video now of emergency crews on the scene there on the outside of the terminal. Terminal 2 operates Delta Airlines flights. We want to go right now to NBC's Kerry Sanders, who's outside the airport. Kerry, what have you learned?
Well, Lester, as you reported, law enforcement officials are telling me that, yes, 9 people have been shot, that indeed they believe the gunman is in custody, but they're still looking to see if there may be another person who is armed in the area. That would be a traditional law enforcement approach in a situation like this. One person, it's believed, has died at the scene. Motive remains unclear. Passengers in the area have first, many of them even out onto the taxiway to put them in a safe zone while law enforcement moves through. As you can understand, much of the airport is in a lockdown situation as the authorities are trying to get a handle on what happened and, more importantly at this point, whether it's still ongoing or whether it's over.
And I recognize access is limited to the airport right now, but is there any word whether this occurred on the so-called secure side of the airport of TSA or the lobby area, the unsecured portion?
Yeah, it's unclear. I was told it happened between Terminals 2 and 3, which means it would have been outside. This airport is an airport where each terminal is separate, has its own TSA, and as you noted, Terminal 2 is mostly Delta Airlines. So if it happened between Terminals 2 and 3, it could happen on the upper deck, which is the departure area, or down below, which is the arrival area. Haven't quite pinpointed which spot that happened at, but that's an area where a lot of people walk from terminal to terminal when they're changing planes and actually changing airlines.
Forgive me for my lack of familiarity. This is part of the Miami metropolitan area in terms of air service, correct?
Absolutely. I mean, this airport is second to Miami International Airport, but it is a huge airport. I'm doing off the top of my head, but I think it's like 15 million passengers a year coming in and out of Fort Lauderdale. A lot of airlines like Southwest and JetBlue come here rather than going to Miami because of the lower landing fees. So a lot of people who come to this metropolitan area will fly into Fort Lauderdale, and if they're going down to Miami, they'll, take the 35-minute drive south when there's no traffic to get to, say, South Beach or something like that.
And we're looking at these live aerials in the chopper. You can see the traffic. A lot of the traffic stopped going into the airport there. Also, you saw on the tarmac what appeared to be a number of passengers and or workers who have been evacuated to that part, to the runway section, the ramp section, if you will, there, while all this is sorted out. Not unlike the pictures we saw in Brussels following an attack at that airport several months ago. Again, it is 9 people shot, 1 person dead, and as Kerry's reporting, the shooter is in custody. We don't know if the shooter was among the wounded there. The shooting apparently occurring, as Kerry tells us, between Terminal 1 and 2. Delta is the big operator there in Terminal 2. But right now, things at a standstill as they get a handle, as they always will in this case. There will be secondary searches in case this was part of a broader plot involving others. Let's go to NBC's Tom Costello, who covers aviation and is certainly familiar with the security arrangements at airports like this. Tom?
Lester, really quickly, I can tell you we've checked with the FAA. We've also checked with the TSA, and at the moment, they report that this is very much a local police or an airport police matter. They do not have, at this point, any update on the status of what's going on there. Keep in mind, the TSA is not an armed security force. We all see them when we, of course, go into the airport. You will at times see a TSA, Homeland Security Viper team. Those are the armed SWAT-looking teams that patrol airports in conjunction with the local airport police authority. But by and large, TSA officers are not armed. And so whatever the police response is to this incident, as it would be in any airport, that would be very much up to the local police and the armed officers on the scene. And what I also would take note of, I just now checked to see if we've got a ground stop on the ground at that airport at Fort Lauderdale, and so far nothing official on the FAA's website. We checked with them. They don't have anything either. It clearly is an immediately unfolding situation where you've got paramedic units out on the ramp and we don't know if this is ongoing in terms of treating people or whether they might be looking for any other suspects, but we know that one suspect is in custody, Lester.
All right, let's go back to Kerry Sanders. Kerry, do we know if this occurred in baggage claim?
You know, I wish I could pinpoint it for you, and I'm going to try and do that. I think I'll get a better handle once I can. It looks like I'm going to have to walk the rest of the way in here, but once I can get myself into the location, I'll get a better handle. But if folks have friends or relatives that were flying, Terminal 2 is mostly Delta. Terminal 3 has JetBlue and American Airlines, and so that's where people would have been coming or going. And again, I'm still trying to determine whether this happened outside the TSA secure lines or whether it happened on the other side of the security lines. And we'll get a better handle on that, I think, once I physically get in there. And I'm also going to talk to some more law enforcement officials, sources that I have that can maybe tell me some more.
Understood. All right, Kerry, we'll let you get to it. Thanks very much. Again, this occurring at the Fort Lauderdale, Florida airport. 9 people shot, 1 dead. We always want to characterize these sorts of situations. All we can tell you is it is a terrorizing situation. Whether it is terror in the term that we've come to know it, that will remain to be seen. We'll continue to watch developments there as they warrant. We'll come back on the air with updates. For now, I'm Lester Holt, NBC News, New York. Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.